They say every storyteller carries a single tale that clings to his soul. For me, it was the legend of a man who unmade perfection. I heard it once, long ago, from an old traveler beside a dying fire. His words sank like embers into my mind, and though the years have scattered memory, the shape of that tale still burns. He called the man Arin, a name now half swallowed by time. Some called him a sage, others a madman. In his youth, the kingdoms of the valley prized one thing above all: flawless order. Cities were built to exact measure, temples sang only one note of praise, and every artist was trained to polish away mistakes until nothing human remained. Arin was born in the low quarter of the capital, where the walls met the river's noise. His mother mended nets. His father carved prayer stones. He grew among patterns, loops of thread, lines of script, rules upon rules. But what stayed with him most were the moments when the pattern failed. When a net tore and let a fish escape, his mother only smiled and said, "That one wasn't ours." When a chisel slipped, his father whispered, "The stone wanted that scar." Those words became his first rebellion. He grew into a quiet thinker, studying every law of craft and logic he could find, only to test their breaking points. At 17, he left the city with nothing but a notebook and a question. If perfection is the highest truth, why does it always shatter? He wandered the fractured lands for years. He studied storm paths, the collapse of cliffs, the bloom of rot in fallen trees. Everywhere he saw the same secret. Decay was not failure, it was movement. Life existed because nothing held still. In a northern monastery, he found his first mentor, an aged hermit known only as the Keeper of Dust. The man taught him how to watch stillness until it revealed motion, to listen to silence until it spoke. When the hermit died, Arin carved on his stone. He dissolved like smoke, and in that dissolution, he traveled farther than feet could carry. Decades passed. Kingdoms changed. Arin returned south, wearing robes gray as the road. He spoke of entropy, a forbidden idea that frightened the priests of order. All things drift apart, he told them, but drifting is not destruction. It is the song of being. The temples called him heretic. Scholars mocked his riddles. Yet among the common folk, whispers spread. They said his presence warped the air, that tools repaired themselves or broke for reasons none could see. His words carried weight, not because of authority, but because he believed them. At last, the High Council summoned him. The grand chamber was carved from pure marble, flawless, cold, echoing. Arin stood alone before 100 polished faces. A counselor demanded, "Do you seek to undo the harmony of our world?" Arin replied, "Harmony that fears a crack is only silence wearing a mask." The chamber stirred. Another asked, "Then what is your truth, wanderer?" Arin said, "To weave the unweavable." To let disorder live beside design, he was exiled that night. But exile changed nothing. It gave him freedom to build. In a ruined fortress by the sea, he began his final work, a structure no one understood. He called it the Loom of Entropy. Witnesses said it was neither machine nor temple. Its threads glimmered without light, stretched between pillars of stone that hummed like living throats. Arin wove day and night, drawing strands of water, wind, memory, and shadow through his hands. Some said he was creating a mirror of the universe. Others said he was teaching chaos to sing. When storms broke across the coast, villagers fled. Only one apprentice stayed, a girl named Lyra, once a beggar, whom Arin had taken in. She recorded his words as the winds howled. Perfection, he told her, is the pause before death. Every living thing is imperfect because it still breathes. One night, the loom shuddered. Light and darkness spun together until neither could be told apart. The sea froze, then boiled. Lyra cried out that the world was breaking. Arin only smiled. No, child. It's remembering how to move. The fortress collapsed into the tide. When dawn came, nothing remained. No body, no loom, only lines burned into the shore like threads of black glass. Years later, sailors swore that at certain tides they saw a figure walking the horizon, dissolving and reforming with each wave. They called him the Weaver of Entropy. Night felt wider. Years later, I searched for proof of Arin. The historians had none. The temples denied he ever lived. Yet in the ruins of that northern monastery, I found a single carving in the stone floor, a spiral made from ash, still faintly warm when touched. I took it as a sign that legends leave traces only those who doubt perfection can see. I have since told this tale to many halls, under many roofs. The learned scoff, the children listen, and the weary smile. Some think Arin was a philosopher. Some say he was a magician who glimpsed the pattern behind time. A few whisper that he became the pattern itself. But I think the old traveler was right about one thing. Arin was not chasing power. He was chasing understanding, the kind that doesn't conquer the world, but accepts it. He saw that every birth begins with a breaking, every creation demands a flaw, every truth bends before becoming real. There is a part of his legend that few retell. The apprentice, Lyra, lived. Washed ashore far inland, she wandered until she found a village rebuilding after flood. There she taught children to weave, not with thread, but with scraps and mistakes. When one asked her why she never straightened her lines, she said, "Because only the crooked ones tell stories." Generations later, that saying spread through artisans, builders, even kings. Only the crooked ones tell stories. They forgot its origin, but the idea endured. The temples softened their dogma. Artists began leaving one deliberate flaw in every masterpiece, calling it the weaver's mark. And sometimes, when lightning flashes over the sea, they say the waves still form the faint outline of a man working an invisible loom. When I tell this legend now, I begin with silence. Then I say, once there was a man who wove the end of all things into the beginning of everything. The listeners lean forward. Some smile, others frown, but all grow quiet. Because deep inside, everyone fears the crack in their own design and longs for someone to tell them it's all right. Maybe that's why his story endures, not because Arin defeated death or mastered creation, but because he dared to call imperfection divine. I never met the old traveler again, but sometimes, when I sit before the fire, I think of him. I imagine he's out there still, moving from camp to camp, whispering new endings to old stories, keeping entropy alive through memory. And when the flame flickers unevenly, I smile. For I remember what the weaver taught. Everything that changes is still whole. Everything broken still breathes. And the story, like the world, remains perfect only because it never stops unraveling.